I'm here with the one, the only Frankie Moreno. Welcome.
This is awesome. Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy to be here. Look, known you for a very long time.
A very long time, actually.
Very long time. We'll see
We
how...
had a section in between where we fell off the planet, but then we're back.
Correct. And in thinking about all the things I could possibly bring up to you, it's endless. But I thought, let's start with this.
Soap.
That's for another episode.
Right.
I had it in my mind a few years ago. More than that, you invited me to a private show.
Right. During
COVID time. Yep. It was amazing. And I just remember the attention to detail being so insane. And like, you might actually find this interesting to hear it from a, visitor's perspective, from a listener's perspective. But I just remember it wasn't Frankie and there's, I don't know, half a dozen or so other musicians with you there. It wasn't just that. It wasn't like you just coming on and someone just starting the beat and just going. It was like there was a whole aura. There was a whole just amazing thing that was happening even prior to you coming out. Like I just wanted to say that attention to detail was so amazing to me. During that same show, one of the things that really stood out to me was that, I don't know how I know this, but I think that it was the first time or second time or one of the first times that you had ever played with this one particular guitar player.
Yeah, I know.
I don't remember who he was. I remember that collectively, my mind was just freaking blown. Okay. And I'm making this point. I'm going to get to a point here in a second, but I just remember thinking like the result was like a cumulative greater than any one individual could possibly do.
Right.
I remember the look of, I don't know, shock, or you were blown away too. Like you're there singing piano full blown, but like I could see on your face that the result of that guy had almost never played with you before. It was so amazing.
Well, I mean, that comes out, the whole thing. I mean, thank you, first of all. The whole thing, first of all, for when we're putting together an event, I mean, I call it a show, whatever you want to call it, right? But I've never looked at it like, here I am showcasing what I'm good at. I work real hard at what I do. I have my whole life. I hope I'm good at it, right? Like, if you're not good at it, why bother? So that part's out, right? So now it's like, it's not, let me show you how good I am. Now it's like, let's all get together and experience a feeling. And now you're coming in with, maybe someone just put down a dog and another person just got married and another person, is, just broke up with their girlfriend. You got all these different places that people are on their brains. So what I always try to do at every single show is I know that they're all on different platforms or plateaus, whatever you call it, right? I try to unite everyone, even if it's for 10 seconds, but at the same, it's got to be the same 10 seconds.
I love that.
Because if I'll get you for a second, like I'll sing, let's say you just went through a breakup. I'm singing happy songs and you're not.
I can't help myself. I want to hear Love Died Street. Right. I can always say that. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, but if you went through you're going through a sad time. If I'm playing a happy song, you might enjoy what I'm doing. And he plays the piano good. The band sounds good. But you're not going to resonate with it, right? But then I hit that breakup song and I got you, right? But now the other person that just found love is liking this song. So I'm hitting everyone in different places, but there's an important part of a show that you have to unite everyone, even if it's for 10 seconds at the same time. And that's when it's just like that. Ooh, we're in a thing together. We're here. Everyone's got their phones and they want to film it for something they're never going to watch ever again.
That's so true. I always think
they never watch it. I mean, if they do, it sounds like crap.
Just be in the moment,
Can we
right?
cuss on here? I don't know how that works.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It just doesn't look good. You're never gonna watch a 45-minute crappy performance.
Totally agreed.
Be there, but in that moment when you're there, it's magical. So that being said, every element I think of is going to lead you to that moment, from the parking situation, from the dinner you had before. What if you have a terrible dinner and a bad experience? And all of that's going to play into what happens when you're sitting in that room for 90 minutes, right? When you leave, did the valet get your car? Did someone pop a tire? Every element is so important. So I'm probably, to a fault, a micromanager with trying to control how you're getting to the event, what time you're getting there. Everything has to lay in. So in that case, we had a new guitar player. So I'm making sure everything else is open for whatever he's going to bring to the table. I'm prepared for anything that's going to happen.
And look, again, the story of the, like, I don't even know what to call it, so forgive me, but like there was some sound, something was going on like a couple minutes before you even came out. I don't even know how to explain it. But
like a problem, like feedback or something?
No, a good thing. There was like some sound. There was some noticeable like thought to that there's something happening. I can't even tell you what it was, but I felt it and I said, damn it, there's so much attention to the specifics.
We do everything all the way down to like what music is playing before. Like if I don't really know what I'm going to play when I walk on stage, I have a concept of it. We've read a list that we're kind of going to loosely follow. We write that list right before the show, but it's going to change. But everything down to like, okay, if this is the list, I have playlists ready to play, whether it's a massive concert or a small room like you saw me in, to set the mood. How the volume increases, to what level does the volume increase? So you start getting a little more energetic, the tempos, the keys.
I love it.
There's all that stuff with like, when Mozart and Beethoven are writing music, they put them in certain keys because even keys affect your mood. So like, it's just stuff a lot of artists, I think, probably look over.
It, what's going through my mind now is it takes a mastery, it takes a career in order to even get your brain, like if I'm in your position, which I'm not, but if I'm put in some position of which I needed to perform, which would terrify me, I'm worried, oh crap, I'm going to hit a wrong note. Or you know what I mean? I'm just saying I'm worried about the foundation, whereas...
You're worried about the wrong stuff.
I'm worried about, yes. Because that stuff
if someone's not doing this as a life.
Yes.
If it's like if it's a hobby or whatever, or even... That's a bad. If there's a lot of people who do this as their career, but it's their job. They're going in, they're clocking. I don't change who I am and clock in at 6 o'clock and become Frankie Moreno.
Yeah,
I'm always Frankie Moreno.
I love that. Yeah.
When I wake up, I'm thinking about the set list for tomorrow night. I'm everything. So like, I think you realize when you do it all the time, a bad note, who cares?
Yeah.
Little things like that just go past in a blink of an eye, where the big picture is, what did you walk away feeling? It's the whole dinner. So if you serve an appetizer that sucks, but your entree is amazing, awesome. But if it's all awesome, I might not even remember what you made a month ago. I'm just going, man,
that was amazing.
I want to go over for dinner again. We had a blast. We had a great bottle of wine. We talked, we laughed. There was music playing at the right volume. Everything is like, a lot of things playing to that.
But again, without mastery, without, I've often used the term, in my own business, what I do, it takes 1,000 small, painful lessons over a career in order to...
That's exactly it.
But if I hadn't have put that time in, right?
Yeah. It's all about time.
I can't think about it. So
it's all about time. I mean, that whole 10,000 hours, whatever, like, it's all about doing something repeatedly, constantly, failing, winning, knowing what it feels like to win.
Yeah.
You have to win too. You can't just, people say like, oh, it's all about failures. No, it's not. You got to win too. You have to have some wins. So you go like,
that's what it should be. This is what it should feel like.
Yeah. So when you don't get that, you know that you've done it before and you can do it again. Yeah. And so you have to be able to win. If you're going to do any business, you have to know a little bit about what you're doing.
Sure.
I mean, after that point, like, it's about figuring it out and winging it. But you go in with a concept and then you gotta go just a little bit past what you're actually capable of. Not like way past, because you're gonna drown. Don't jump out with the sharks, but like just a little bit past where you're a little bit uncomfortable, and then that's when you start achieving really cool stuff.
I hear you loud and clear, and I have memories of our relationship in times of which you've shown me that exact thing.
Yeah.
Look, to say that I'm a musician in front of you is like a stupid comment.
No, you are a musician. I mean, music, it's.
Let's just say I have a love of music, okay?
Right.
And
me too.
So we're good there. But like, again, I'm in my mind, I connected this fantastic experience I had with you in this one setting. And I said to myself, if I had been, even with the best of intentions, drafted to be the replacement of that guitar player that night.
Right.
Okay. It would have been an absolute catastrophe.
No, it would not have. And
Okay.
the reason being, that night, when I start a show, my first 3 songs are throwaways. Like, if you're playing blackjack and they just burn off a couple cards, right?
Okay.
Or burn off a card, whatever. My first 3 songs, I'm going in with, I know these are catchy hits.
Yeah.
I know the people want to hear them, and I'm not performing during those songs. I'm just summing up the situation.
Interesting.
I'm using that time to identify that guy's like completely unengaged. I got to work a little harder on him. This girl's like, okay, like not too much eye contact with her, whatever. you figure out your scenario and you go like, okay, how do I get everyone as a one? It's me and not 20 or 1,000 or 10,000. It's me and one.
Yeah.
It's just like this, that you have to be the crowd to me. So same thing with musicians. So the musician comes up, never played with that guy. Killer. I mean, like next level stuff.
Yes.
And like, I identify that immediately. And so I start throwing stuff his way musically and seeing what he's throwing back to me. And like, okay, I know where I can take this. So for him, we take it down music lane.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now, if it was you, and I haven't heard you play in a long time, and I don't same thing with him. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
But if you came up, you would not fail. I wouldn't let you fail, because if you fail, I fail. So I find your strengths and your weaknesses, and I make your weaknesses look awesome.
And I love that. And I'm going to joke here and say that maybe turning down the amp is like the way of
maybe
fixing
that's
that.
Maybe that is the thing. Maybe that is the thing.
But
it turns out you're a good talker, so I give you a mic.
I appreciate. Yeah. Just let him announce, right? Let him announce. But look, what you're saying in essence, and again, I'm going to tie this into my own business, is by the way, I've never heard you say any of this. And I find it so interesting because, again, as a random person just coming and listening to you, I don't know if someone understands that there's so much going on besides the words coming out of your mouth, the singing, the playing, which is in and of itself absolutely incredible.
They sing 14 songs and then we go out the back door.
So that's amazing in and of itself. But the fact that you are orchestrating the entire situation, more so than the average person might understand, I liken it to what I do. Again, like I've often said, the right people have to be wearing the right hats for it to succeed.
It's the only way.
It's the only way. And
you're building every business, whether you're doing websites or I'm doing music or car salesman, whatever, is building a pyramid. It's the whole thing is building a pyramid. And the top is not you. The top is the focus of what was the intent of the success you're trying to build in the first place. Why are you doing this? And maybe that answer is, I want money. Or maybe it's like, I want fame. Or maybe it's like, I want this for the good of humanity. Whatever, I want this to buy a house for my parents. Whatever that is, that has to be the top. And everyone you find is a brick that is very important. You can't take out one of those bricks. The whole thing doesn't.
The whole thing will fall down. Yeah.
The whole thing falls down. It's really important. The team is
It's critical.
The team could be 1,000 people. The team could be 4 people.
Yeah.
It could be 2.
Yeah.
But it has to be the right combination of people.
Totally agreed. Because again, I could have had the best of intentions that night, right? But if I'm not doing the role in which I'm supposed to do, then the end result will suffer. Again, in your
100%.
case, you're leading the charge. You would ensure that I wouldn't be put in a situation that would be embarrassment, not just for me, but for you, for the whole group.
Right.
But again, it's like I liken it with myself. I am responsible for the outcome of a project in which I take on.
Right.
I therefore am responsible to make sure that the right people are doing the right job.
You're the face of it. You're the
Correct.
go-to.
Because at the end of the day,
it's your idea.
I will lose face. I will lose the respect of my client. I will lose the credibility, et cetera. So I made that connection in my mind, and I thought, wow, how interesting.
Now, what makes like the music industry maybe slightly different from most is all that is going on in my brain, the team. But when you're in the moment, I can't be thinking of any of that because now all I'm trying to do is convey a feeling. I have to know it all. I have to know all that stuff we're talking about right now. And that has to be pre-planned and organized and sifted. But then once the moment happens, it's now you, when you're doing a website for someone, and we're talking and, I want to do a website with you. And you're like, I want to do this and this and this and this and this. And I can do this for you. That's all great, right? Then at some point, you're going to say, check it out. At that point, I either like it or I don't like it.
Yeah.
all the ideas sound awesome.
Yeah.
But I have to like what I'm seeing at the end.
Very true.
It's out of your hands at that point.
That's so true. And
so the same thing with the show. Once the show is rolling, it's out of my hands. You know, your seat, comfortability, is the drink strong enough?
Yeah.
Is the music too loud, too quiet?
So many factors.
Is the drums like not mixed right? And that's too late. So that all has to be thought in advance.
And again, it's like you're orchestrating everything. You're thinking about it. You're not thinking about it. It's a second nature, really. It's second nature.
Yeah. But it all just comes down to, it all just comes down to business. In the end, my top of my pyramid is making you feel something and not feel a particular thing, feel all the things. I want you to, for 1 minute, just kind of laugh, I want you to 1 minute kind of go like, yeah, remember the person that's no longer in your life or something like that. This reminds me of that. I want you to experience like a little bit of inspiration. Like there's nothing I enjoy more than watching someone really good at what they do in any aspect, computers, sports, who's really good and passionate. A guy who paints a wall. If you hire a guy to paint a wall and he's painting the wall, God, I hate doing this. I just want my money. But somebody's like really into it and like, oh my gosh, look at I nailed that. And he's like excited. You can't help but why I've watched this guy paint my walls all day if he's like into it. So watching someone really good at what they do is inspiration, So I want my pyramid is to make all those things come to you, and hopefully I have to do it collectively. When you're working with me for a website, we're working one-on-one. Or maybe my team and your team. But in a show, it's like now that team, that pyramid I built is all just focused on me. Just like when the website comes in for me to look at, it's all focused. Like, I don't know how many guys you had do it. Maybe you had 12 guys do it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you. I'm picturing your face sitting at a computer doing this. And I look at it and I go, well, that sucked.
I hope not.
No, but
of course.
But that's the price you have to pay if it doesn't. Like, it's like you sucked. You're not going well, no. That was Johnny's idea.
And Johnny really intended to do a great job. Well, that doesn't matter anymore.
It didn't fall in line. And you can have all your bricks for your pyramid, right? And your team could be one also. You know what I mean? Maybe the particular job you're going in is one. But whatever it is, every single mind working together needs to have that same tip of the pyramid.
I love it.
In focus.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love it. I got to tell you, known each other for a very long time and very similar in thinking. I have recently been thinking so much about how much I have so much respect for people that take what they do seriously, no matter what it is. I've given the example, even on a podcast, there's some juice place that I go to. Guy knows every single flavor, every single combination. It's amazing. I love it. Another thing,
passion. That's passion.
Yes. Another thing that comes to my mind, the most incredible thing I've ever witnessed with these pair of eyes is the doctor that delivered my daughter. I could have tears and I have chills just thinking about Frankie.
Yeah, no, I understand.
It was, I know, and it was the most magical, insane thing I've ever seen in my entire life. She comes, I'm terrified. Shay, the wife in another planet.
He's calming you down.
She comes in, calm as can be, putting on this stuff, masks, all. And I'm just thinking, what in the heck is going on here? Took it absolute perfect.
Knows exactly what she's doing and just ready to go in and complete a task.
And I'm in awe of her. I'll love her for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much to be said for that. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. Passion, you could teach anybody anything. Like in time, you could get a protege and over the next 20 years, have him do the chores you do on a computer, learn the programs, I could teach someone piano or music or songwriting, the craft. Passion, you can't teach it. And it's not even drive is another thing, right? I mean, like drive is confused with passion. Drive is like, how much are you willing to work? And some people just have a natural instinct. Like I want to plow everything down. I'm here for this much time. We're all here for just a blink. Yeah. And whatever everybody believes happens next, that's great. But this blip that we're doing this, some people go like, well, I just want to ride it out. And some people are like, no, I want to like I want to get as much done as I can. I'm not thinking I want to get as much done as I can. I'm thinking I want to experience everything that I have available to me to experience in its fullest. I want to make sure I don't leave and go into whatever the next scenario is. Maybe it's eternal darkness, whatever the next scenario is. I don't want to be there and have some sort of consciousness and go, whoa, I wasted them. What did I waste that for? You know, we always look back. What's the thing you always do? You always look back and feel like you could have done better.
Sure.
I don't want ever that feeling.
And the reality is we don't know when that
No, and I don't even want that feeling tomorrow. If I do wake up healthy and happy tomorrow, I don't want to go, dang, I could have done a little bit more.
Yeah.
I could have said this a little differently. I could have been a little nicer to that person. I don't want that ever. And like, I think when it comes to, that's the drive. That's the drive of doing that. The passion is how much do you love what you're doing? The only way to love what you're doing is choose something you love to do and follow that.
Let me ask you a question. I have my own opinion. I'm going to hold it until you tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Do you think that drive and passion together, if you were to take a protege now and spend 20 years with them, could execute what you execute on the piano?
No, because you also need a fuck ton of luck and timing and the right supports. You need a lot of things. And once something is done a certain way, it can never be done that way again.
Because I was going to say, I think the answer is no also.
Yeah, it's not. And it's not because people, let me use this as an example. I'm a rock and roll fan. I like Elvis Presley, right? You know, and people go, there'll never be another Elvis. There'll never be another Michael Jackson. There'll never be another Frank Sinatra. That's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, there's people who blow some of those guys out of the water that we will never find. So it's not that there will never be another one of those. It will never be the same circumstance.
Sure.
Elvis Presley, as an example, comes out right when TVs go into people's homes. And here's a guy who looks different than everybody. Interesting. Right?
Yeah.
Lollipop, lollipop is what's on the radio. And he goes, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. Like, what is this? Everything about it was visually captivating. The timing was right.
Yeah.
Cars were just starting to come in colors.
Yeah.
He gets the pink Cadillac. I mean, it's the perfect scenario of a rock star. Like,
so interesting.
How do you do that now? So if I go, I'm going to get crazy looking cars. I'm going to look crazy on stage. What is crazy now? I mean, I've seen Marilyn Manson. What now is crazy?
Yeah, it's a good point.
You know?
Yeah.
Crazy now is almost not doing anything.
Yeah, it's a very good point. And the circumstances are so different and cannot be repeated now versus what was. Yeah.
And I can teach someone the art of like the technique of piano, or I could teach them the technique of songwriting. But with music, I guess it's different. Like, you know, if you're trying to show someone how to take apart an engine, right?
Yeah. It's technical kind of.
And I'm sure if we were sitting here with a mechanic, he might have a different outlook on that. But in my mind, the way I see that is there are steps to do to disassemble this thing either correctly or incorrectly. There is no right or wrong in music. There's nothing you can do wrong. You say wrong notes. I don't know what does that mean? Wrong notes?
Yeah.
There's not a wrong note.
I've heard often, like, you get to a certain point, maybe you'll agree with me on this, is that it's like not about hitting the wrong note. It's like how it's done, how it's recovered from.
Right, exactly.
Is there truth to that?
Absolutely. A wrong note is fixed if you know how to fix it.
Interesting.
But even more so when you get more advanced in music, there's no note that is wrong. It's a choice you make. Pick this one. Oh, that's wrong. No, that's you would never do that if you're a supreme musician. You would never choose wrong. So you choose that note, and then it's art. Like, do you like Picasso or do you like Michelangelo? Who's better? I mean, one that knows is up here. I mean,
one of the things that's coming to my mind is that, it's so difficult to move beyond I just want to technically do it correct in that moment, which would be my play. I'm coming from that place, right? Let me execute the 10 or 20 songs I know on the piano without failing to hit a particular note, versus what you're saying, which is about, it's way beyond that.
But that's the difference in someone who's got a hobby for playing music and someone who's got a passion to be I never wanted to be a famous musician. I wanted to be the best piano player in the world.
Wow.
I mean, from my first thoughts of a child, I can do this. Oh my gosh. And then the first thing I could do, I was one of those little freaks. I could play Mozart at 3 years old. The first thing after that was like, well, Mozart's the best. And
Yeah.
I want to beat that.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
How can you be better? You can't be better. It's different. Is Beethoven and Mozart are totally different. Who's better? I mean,
Yeah.
who's better, Beethoven or Elvis?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even the same job. So it's this weird, you're in this weird, I don't know. I mean, you're coming from it from the thoughts of like, let me just put myself in that job.
It's true. And that's your life. It's your entire life.
I'm coming from it. Yeah. Like I don't know anything but.
Yeah.
So like it'd be like me saying like, oh, if I were to design a website, I don't know the fucking first thing about designing a website. I mean, I can sit and think of what would be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know the first thing. So you could say, come over 2 hours a day. Let me teach you how to run these plugins. Yeah. We were talking about like editing clips. Oh, get this app. I don't even know what that means. Yeah. So like my first thought is, oh, I got to pay someone to do that for me.
You told me a great story once. Does the term Triple Crown sound familiar to you? I don't remember if it was at this.
Did I do a Triple Crown with you?
You did a Triple Crown to me. And it was at a show.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was this particular show. And I remember that, what am I going to do? There's hundreds of people staring at me. I got to do it, right? I have no choice. It's like,
so what a triple crown is we drink Crown Royal and we set up three triples. So it's 9 shots.
I don't know what you gave me, but it looked like half a gallon in a cup, essentially.
Yeah. So basically you're doing about 9 normal shots.
Is that what it was? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. I had a great night after that.
So we could either do it in 3s or you did it in 1 cup.
Yeah.
I probably poured you a tumbler just filled with it.
It was just a ridiculous amount. Yes.
And you go, do it. And when the whole crowd starts cheering you on, you're like, all of a sudden you get balls.
Yeah.
And you're like, let's go. And then for 10 minutes, you're totally fine. Like, I don't even feel it.
And then after that, lights out. But let me tell you, one of the best compliments I ever got was from you. And it was immediately after this horrific Triple Crown experience. And you had said something to the tune of, when we got back together, when we developed a site, when we did what we did, you had asked me, hey, is it possible to do
I remember.
X, Y, Z, whatever that was?
And you said, everything's possible.
Everything is possible. Yeah.
And so there you go for music. It's the same flip-flopping our roles.
Yeah.
When you're saying like, is it wrong? There is not. It's all doable. I mean, it comes down to, if you want to watch my show and you saw me in a little tiny secret cave we put on a little show during COVID. And sometimes we play Carnegie Hall. Sometimes we play Hollywood Bowl. Sometimes we play a nightclub. If you how do you say it? Like when you're saying anything's possible. If I said, watch my show in this little room and then you go on and watch a Bruno Mars concert, and he's got lights and fireworks go off when he's dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's possible for us too. If for the right budget, we could get fireworks. We get this,
Of course, yeah.
Everything is possible for anybody. I mean, that sounds so cliche and stupid, but it really is. I mean, anyone can do anything they want to do if they want it bad enough. I had a guitar player say something to me the other day. A friend of mine said, I could have never played in your band because I don't. And I said, well, that's a stupid thing to say. Like, if you if your goal was that, you'd figure it out.
Yeah. Well, you got to put in the effort.
If you really wanted to be where one night you come up and you played like that guy who played the guitar, you figure that out. But you got your own thing going. Like, I'd love to know more about internet and website stuff, but like, I don't have enough of a passion.
Correct. And I'll tell you, Frankie, I'm at a point in my life where, I'm so invested in what it is that I have a specialty in. I have very little interest in delving in other things. Like I have opportunities often, right, that excite me, that interest me, things like that. But, and if I really ask myself, is there something there for me?
Yeah.
The answer in my heart truly is, I need to continue to get deep into what I'm doing.
Right.
Deep.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier, like wanting to experience all this stuff in life, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you have to experience everything. You experience what you want to and what you love. And if you love what you're doing, you win.
I love that.
You have no idea how many times. See, you and me have different worlds of how we do it because you're behind a desk.
Yep.
And I'm in front of people. However, I do producing and I produce my own records. So I'm constantly at a computer. I'm just constantly sitting at a computer all day. But then I get to go out and do a show.
Yep.
And if I get to meet people and I'm in London and I'm shaking 1,000 hands and looking into 1,000 eyes, and then the next day I'm in Texas, and then the next day I'm in Germany, and then the next day I'm in Miami. I'm meeting these people and I always hear the same thing oh, you're awesome. You're awesome. They enjoyed what they did. And they equate their good time to me being good.
Of course. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I'm good. I could name you, and I won't because they're probably friends of mine, but I could name you 10 gigantic stars that aren't good at what they do.
I mean, you say technically they don't possess.
Technically.
I see.
Elvis Presley was not a great guitar player. He's associated with a guitar. I love Elvis. No disrespect to Elvis. Love Elvis. He's not a guy that would sit down and shred on a guitar.
I get it. Yeah.
He didn't need to be.
Yeah.
He even makes a joke. One of his comments, he goes like, I don't know much about music. In my line of business, you don't need to.
That's funny.
But he was more of a Marilyn Monroe, like he was a figure.
Yeah.
Now you got like a Sting who's hyper focused on song crafting and right. And then you got Chick Corea, who's all about just purely playing, no vocals, no.
Yeah.
So you got all these things. So I mean, I don't know. I mean,
look, good to the person that's saying to you in any of these locations means that they got out from it.
They got something out of it. And to
it.
me, then I always respond back with like, oh, awesome. What do you do? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm just to this. Or, I'm just to this. I'm just to this.
Well, they look at you and they see fame. They see.
Who cares?
But I'm just saying that's what they see.
I know, but if everyone actually knew what fame meant, you don't actually want it.
What does fame mean?
What fame ultimately means, and I only know from my own personal level. I can't speak on behalf of a Michael Jackson level, right? But I can speak more than someone else. What fame means, the more fame you have is the more attention on what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's all good attention.
Sure.
Some people aren't going to like your work. That's also fame.
Yeah.
If you're talking like, hey, did you see that guy last night on Saturday Night Live? He sucked, man. What are you talking about? He's famous. He's more famous than your neighbor that you don't know his name.
Yeah.
So, but what fame comes with is a lot of perks. I can walk into restaurants and get free food. And will you tag me that you were here?
Sure.
It's on me, Mr. Moreno. That's awesome, right? And in return, you do something for them. If you like what you did, you then bring notoriety to this place.
Sure.
That's nice. But what fame ultimately means is it's bringing attention onto your art form and what you do. So in my case, and maybe this is different in your case, you let me know. But like in my case, I make a record. I create a project. You make a website. It's one thing. That's not the end of the day. That's not the end of the game.
No, it's not.
I make a record. That's the record. It's a timestamp of where I am today. Mm-hmm. Here's my album. Done. Am I happy with it? I get to a place where I'm ready to let people hear. Okay, album's out. Fame means everyone wants to talk about that record for the next year. As soon as that record's out,
yeah,
I'm making a new record.
Yeah.
All I want to do is talk about my new record because I'm hyper-focused on my new record.
Sure.
And you want to talk about a song I wrote 6 months ago.
Well, I mean, in my case, something you've written 20 years ago. I can't stop talking about it.
But there's pros and cons to that.
Yeah.
The whole point is to make people resonate with something.
Yeah.
But imagine if you made a website for somebody and you make a website for me. And then, oh my gosh, a lot of attention comes. Oh, you made a website for Frankie. Let's all talk about this. And now Johnny again comes in and he needs a website, right? But you're so busy out doing podcasts and radio and TV and interviews about Frankie's website, you can't actually do what you're good at anymore.
So interesting.
So I find myself constantly battling promoting what I do and doing what I do. There's talking about what I do, and then there's actually doing what I do.
Yeah.
I'm never on a camera. I hate being on a camera. Like I'm doing this because I watched some of your stuff.
Yeah.
And I love the way you talked on camera.
It
intrigued me. And I'm like, I'd love to talk to you.
That's fantastic.
I feel like we could talk about whatever.
We could talk endlessly, I think.
We could talk or not talk for hours. but if you look at my album covers, my CD, my single covers, and you've seen every one of them.
Yep.
Only about 3 or 4 have a picture of me on it. It's all just random stuff. My dog.
Yeah.
Nature. I don't like being, because I feel like that has nothing to do. That's just my shell. That has nothing to do with my thoughts of the music.
Sure.
And my thoughts of the music have nothing to do with me. It's making you feel something from that music, saying words that you wouldn't be able to say in a situation that you're vulnerable. You
I
know?
love it.
You're hurt and you need the words, and I just gave you the words, and it's a greeting card.
Yeah.
How many people buy a card and they go and they just sign it?
Yeah, because they believe in the words.
Yeah,
right?
those words. That's
how I feel.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's 99% of America.
Wow. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. There's that whole thing of like the fame thing. If people actually could experience fame, like real fame, and they go, "Oh, look at Britney Spears. She's gone mad. Oh, look at Justin Bieber. He's doing all these crazy stuff. He shouldn't do that." It's the same thing as a guy sitting on a couch, you know, with a Cheetos on his thing and going like, "How did he drop that ball?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that guy get a
in that situation,
pigskin thrown as a bullet right into the center of his chest cavity in front of 50,000 people and 20 cameras.
Yes.
And let's see what you do.
Let's see how you react.
That's the thing is everyone can give their opinion, and especially now with social media and online, everyone can give their opinion and be very vocal about, don't go to this restaurant, the fries are greasy. Get the hell out of here. You can ruin this. This poor guy might have sold everything he had to start a business, and he's learning, and give him the feedback.
Yes.
Your fries are greasy.
Yes.
And if he can't fix them, someone else will eventually complain at some point. But like, I
appreciate that. Keep it positive.
Keep it positive. Without positivity, it's very hard to succeed.
Yeah. I really appreciate that. I myself am, I'm aware of that too. It's like you can really do damage. Like, why? I love that. Just go direct. You have a comment, go direct.
Yeah. And a comment could be negative. I find all the time it's very difficult, even with my band members, if someone's not doing something right. You say, "You're not doing that right." And I don't mean it in a sense of like, you suck. I mean it like, well, clearly you have the job.
Yeah.
You're here.
You're here, right?
So
I didn't get that job. I'm joking. I'm joking.
You never asked.
No. I wouldn't put you in that position. Okay.
I would find a very nice way to say,
Alex, just why don't you go back behind the screen?
Now there's things where maybe you play enough where like, okay, well, you play enough, but you can run all the website stuff.
Yeah. You're doing a great job playing. Just keep going with the website. You're doing great.
No, but that lies again in the team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's you got to get the right team. You have to have the right team, and I've been doing this my entire life. It's all I know.
Yeah.
I made a joke earlier, like, about let's not talk about putting cars together because I don't know how to put cars together.
Yeah.
I don't even know what side. Half the time I forget what side my gas tank's on.
Agreed.
But
I have a Tesla. I don't know what side my gas tank is on.
You said get in the car today. I better forget how to open the handle. No, but like there is a thing that the team is important. The team, for me, I grew up completely saturated in music. My father plays guitar. He's okay. He knows enough to play a song. He had like little weekend warrior bands, My uncle played saxophone. My grandpa played a little. No one took it seriously. It was fun. It was like, I know some chords.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how to sing these songs, so I'm going to go in front of people and do it and whatever. And I go in front of 50 people, 100 people, and that's fun. Not to a level of like they're flying you to Scandinavia to do 5 concerts for thousands of people. They never took it to that level. So I was saturated in, since I can remember, all music. My dad was hyper focused on the rock and roll stuff, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis. But I'm like, okay, well, look at Ray Charles, like rock and roll. Okay, Dad, right? But he's taking it into jazz. Well, if that's jazz, let's go into these guys and these guys. Let's venture out.
Yeah.
And then like Stevie Wonder is doing this funk thing. Well, look back where did these originate? And it always fascinated me. I remember at 10 years old, it fascinated me if there's someone I liked. I wanted to know who they liked. Where'd their inspiration come from. I love that. And then you could keep going with that.
Sure.
But you at least need to do one level of that.
Yeah.
If there's someone that you are trying to achieve what they achieved, you need to know who they were modeling themselves after.
I love that.
That helps you move twice as fast.
I think that's so interesting.
For any business. If you want to start a car lot because you went to this car lot and it was great.
Yeah, it was a great experience.
Talk to the owner about that. What made you build it like this? Yeah. Well, I went over and I saw this guy's thing and I wanted to talk. Okay, so then go look at that guy's thing. Yeah. See where it all came from and how it shifted.
Yeah, find the source. Yeah, I love that.
Because it shifts. Like, and that's super important in business of any kind of really understanding the depth of the business.
Yeah, yeah.
getting back to websites, like your website for me is, we'll talk about that in a minute more in depth. It's just unbelievable. I don't think any of our fans have actually seen 20% of that website yet. It keeps going. You can keep finding new tunnels to dive in and find new info. And by the way, I spent the last 3 days writing about 80 pages of information just on our albums for each album. Why these albums were created, where we were, finding photos. Here I'm talking about we were in front of the Eiffel Tower when we wrote this, and we called it this because we had to. I have a photo of that. We documented our lives.
And I feel like I've done a great service in the sense of I've given you the framework to be able to do it, right?
Right.
And it's not even just, Alex is the one tasked with doing every single one of these things. No, it's also I've given you the keys to the car, so to speak, and said you have the ability to do it. So I wanted to ask you, why is it important to you? Why is the website important to you? Why do you, a person that has plenty of other things to do, why do you find yourself making it a priority to spend time on the website?
There's a few reasons to that. That's not an easy answer. One, recently getting more in depth and answering questions about my my own records, like going back to a record from 10 years ago and now getting in depth myself for it is, it's interesting for me.
Yeah.
I enjoy hearing that because I forget.
So true.
So it's refreshing my, I'm enjoying that. I feel like I'm almost watching, at a Grammy when they give someone the Artist of the Year award and they just talk about, or Artist of the Decade, and they're just celebrating someone. I'm looking through the documentation of what I've done on that website.
Yeah.
And I mean, mine's a music website. Yep. So it's not, I'm not trying to convince people of anything at this point. If they're at my website, it's probably because they're a fan.
Yep. Your entire discography is on there, right?
And then recently, as of days, we've started getting in deep with it. Like, let's take this album and let's dive in deep now.
We've always had the playlist with the 30-second clips. Here's what it is, but it's the lyrics. It's the when it was produced, where it was produced, who's a part of it. Here's the description. Now the photos. I mean, it's really how deep one can go.
When I wrote this song, this is, I don't like to tell anybody what I write my songs about because the song is supposed to be interpreted by each person.
Okay.
But I can tell you where I was when I was writing it and what I was personally feeling.
Love it. Yeah.
So I'm getting involved. So there's that. There's that part of the website that's really cool for me. Also, in my line of work, like we have it's instant gratification. You come to the show, you like it. I like Frankie, right? Instagram, Facebook, we get a lot of traction on that. Like a lot. That's where we get all our traction. It's quick, it's easy. The issue with that is like, I've seen people sit there, friends of mine, and sit there and look at Instagram, and they're on their phone, they're looking at Instagram, and they're swiping, swipe, huh?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
And they're still doing it. Well, you just like something you
don't even see what it is.
That guy just said his dog died, so I think the website in my line of work is for people who really do want to learn more.
Yeah.
They really want to learn more, and in that case, to me, when we first started doing this and started talking about it, you were getting pretty deep. Let's build your own version of iTunes. Let's do this. Okay, well now we're talking different level stuff. We're not just getting someone there to look at my music. We're getting someone to a platform where they can find anything they want to find.
Correct.
Now that being said, as time goes by, I can offer them so much more information that they don't know. It just takes time.
Sure.
So I'm trying to, and you probably get sick of me calling like, let's do this, let's do this. But
no.
I'm finding like I'm going down the holes too, and I'm going like, if I was a fan, if I was doing this to Paul McCartney, and there's his song, there's a picture of Paul McCartney, it looks great, it's a perfect picture, right? He's selling this song, he's selling Yesterday. I love the song. There it is. I can listen to a sample of it. Well, I don't need to. That's one cool thing about music. You don't need the samples. If you know the song, it's in your brain. I can read the lyrics to Yesterday. I kind of already know them. That's great.
I can verify that my interpretation of that word is right.
Oh, is that what he said? I didn't know. Okay, I can cross-reference.
Yeah.
But then, what if I could see a video of him sitting there just talking about that song? There's things where you could talk about all the songs and you wrap it all up in a 3-minute little thing you post on YouTube.
Yes.
But I just want to see
that song.
3 minutes of him talking about that song.
Yeah.
when I wrote this, I was going through this in my life.
Yeah.
And maybe it's good. Maybe it's bad. Maybe it's positive or negative, you know?
Here's some like memories of the experience of when I was doing it. Right?
I remember when this happened, this guy came up and this happened and we dropped the plate. You know, like there's always a story. Music is created off of scenario.
Yeah.
So like, there's usually a million things happening that just make something spark.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, you're not sitting in like an office and somehow coming up with.
No, I don't sit in here by myself. No.
This is you're experiencing life and you're writing from life, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
right?
and our particular experience is quite unique in the sense of I'm a big Mozart fan, and Mozart would travel to places to write. There's these jokes about like, you know, the two composers back in the 1700s looking at the Tuscany trees. And one says, "Isn't that beautiful?" And the other guy, "I already wrote that."
That's funny.
You know, and then it's just music. It's not even words.
Yeah.
It's capturing moments. Like if we wanted to, we could write a song about what we're doing right now. I mean, I don't know how many people want to hear a song about people talking to each other, but
I'm sure you could make it great.
We could make it interesting. But there's something, that's why love is always a common thread in music. Everyone experiences that.
Yeah.
Loss.
Oh yeah.
But our particular take, being a Mozart fan, was traveling to write. We have songs on we videoed it and took pictures. We were really adamant about that stuff, documenting what we did, because we thought one day, what if something breaks? One day, I never knew I'd be at this point I'm at now, you know? I mean, I hoped for it. I never hoped for more than what it is now, though.
Interesting.
I never hoped to be Michael Jackson or Elvis Presley, because I've read lots of books. I've spent my life studying these people, and they're miserable.
Yeah.
I don't want to be miserable.
You know, what's the saying? Be yourself, everyone else is taken.
Yeah.
I love that saying.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's also, going back to that fame thing, the more, I love going out and going to a grocery store and two people come up and recognize me and want a picture, or just simply say, there was a time when it was all about an autograph. That's not really a thing anymore. That's like, well, an autograph's not, now it's a selfie.
Yeah.
That's sense. Far more interesting. An autograph they could have gotten from someone else or fake it. Here's me with this person, which you could fake that now too.
Yeah.
But it's a selfie. But I love when someone comes up and just go, "Hey man," like just shakes my hand like, "I got this record. I got Back to the Boogie. Man, I love that. That song on there.
Yes.
I'll take that all day long."
Yeah.
But now that can escalate to where you're an Elvis type and you can't leave your house because everyone wants to talk to you. And even though it might be positive,
it's still like it's
overwhelming, and you can't actually achieve anything.
Wow.
So I never wanted that. I wanted to get, so I'm at a place where I dreamed of.
That's awesome.
But
you made it happen. You dreamed it, you made it happen.
Yeah, I had a very, very clear end game.
I often say, like, without a goal, any direction will do, right? We can go to the left, go to the right.
Right.
Doesn't matter because we don't know where the heck we're going.
Right.
But if there's a goal, and you know, by the way, coming back to the site.
Right.
A part of it to me too is like I don't know what the right word is. Like it's a legacy thing too. It's like,
no, for sure.
You want it all to be there, like all the stuff you've done with the video, the archives, the photos.
I was just talking to somebody about that. I said, you know, doing this for myself, I'm also appreciating. I don't get to stop and appreciate what I do.
Yeah. Well, you said it's always on to the next.
It's just on the next. So it's kind of interesting going back and giving not my take, the actual take of what happened.
Yeah.
I'm giving the actual story. You know,
I love that.
This is not, writing a song is interesting because it's you in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
No one can tell you what I was thinking when I was writing a song except for me.
Yeah.
Now, I write a lot with my brother Tony. You know, like we write a lot, so we could ping pong. That's what was cool, is we could document and you could watch the song ping pong and come to life. If you're sitting there right now and thinking of what you want to talk about, I don't have any idea what's going on in your head. But if we're sitting here together talking, we can document this. Yep. So with songs, we documented all that stuff. So looking back at the website, at the documentation of that, it was fun to do. But I also think one day I won't be here, and the music lives forever. You hope, right? At least with some. Yep. Some people it'll live forever. But the stories will just go away or get morphed.
Yeah.
But if they're coming directly from me, and there's videos of me saying it, and there's print of me writing my own things, not telling someone to write someone, I write my own thing. Like we started doing on the website, you're like, you know, what we should do is a description of the album. Like, I'm like, what does it mean to write a description of the album? I'll let people hear that. But then people are quick. They don't want to go in and listen to all 12 tracks all the way through You can listen to samples. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You could show me 4 pictures of what you could do. That doesn't mean what mine's going to look like.
Sure.
Look what I did for Jeremy and his real estate company. Well, that's not what I want.
Yeah, sure.
So it means nothing to me.
Yeah.
I can see the professionalism in what you do.
Yes.
But
it should give you a feeling that I'm likely capable of doing it for you as well, but it's not your outcome, right?
So you're telling me as the web designer, come up with descriptions, and then I'm thinking, because that's good for the website.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, come up with descriptions for my art. As an artist, there shouldn't be a description on it. It's your own description.
That's interesting.
So I'm struggling writing those, but then I'm thinking, well, if it's not a PR company writing for me, I'm writing the description of what I want to tell you this album is in my words. Quick description. Great. There's the description. Here's the album. Listen to some samples. Great. And as you know, we sell our albums only as albums.
Mm-hmm.
You can't pick song number 9 and that's it. We write them as an album. Otherwise, I would release a single.
Yeah.
We make it as an album. You don't say like, I'll build you a news page.
Sure. It's like we're doing the project.
It's a project.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense not to do the project.
No.
Yeah.
So I tackle my thing, you tackle your thing, and then and there's a team. So like, even though I don't work for you, you don't work for me, right? In a sense like that, we're not co-workers.
We're partners in executing the vision.
In something that's part of my pyramid. That's important. That's an important piece. And like we were talking about the Instagram and the fast gratifying stuff. But with the website is for the people who are serious, who actually are another level fan that really want to know the information. And if they want to know the information, I start thinking of that Paul McCartney thing. How far would I like to see it go? Yeah. Well, I want to see it go until I can't go any farther. Until I'm scraping the bottom of the can.
Yeah.
And so now I'm in this whole kick. Like I haven't even written a song in the last week because I've just been like
very focused on that.
Hyper focused on creating content to give to you.
Yeah.
And then you start going, oh, I could put it like this with these tabs and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good team.
I did the tabs, by the way.
You did them?
Yeah.
But see, that's a good team because I have no idea what you're even talking about. And
you don't know how to do it, but you know the outcome.
Right.
Yeah,
you're saying something to me, and yes, that idea sounds good.
Yeah.
I don't know where to execute that. You do.
Yes.
So you're that part of that team.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, and if you're going to build if you're going to build 4 tabs for a musician who wrote an album.
Yeah.
What kind of content are they going to give you? The average musician is not digging deep. Photos of where they were when they wrote the song, they might have been in there on a shitter on an airplane. You know what I mean? Like we purposely, I've structured our career over the last 30 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Of one day hoping something clicks with somebody, not fame on the global level, that kind of thought, but that you resonate. And if it does resonate with you, I love going to like a place like Prince's house, Michael Jackson's house, Elvis's house, and you go inside and you see the way they lived, set exactly the way it was. That fascinates me. Seeing the clothing in the glass case. Like this person did something significant enough, and that outfit is important enough from a certain event that took place that enough people give a shit about that they're going to put that outfit on a mannequin in a piece of glass 80 years later.
Incredible.
Going to Vienna and going to Mozart's house and seeing his ring. It took everything out of me not to break the glass and take the ring. It's like that to me is, and not like, oh, I want to be a thief. Like that is so super special to me.
Yeah.
That it's not that I want to take it away from other people. Like that to me would mean the world. Because now I feel like I got this magical power, right? The ring.
Yeah.
But stupid things like that. Like,
I get it.
What makes those important? And that someone had passion.
And look how many tens of millions it has reached because of that. And look, in your case, again, I'm one person giving my opinion, but like you've played in front of countless people. I can't imagine the number, right?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Who knows? It's a massive.
Decades.
Massive. But I'm one guy with a love of, let's just say, certain pieces that I always think back to. Imagine the impact of millions, tens of millions of people that have heard the music, seen you play over the course of your career. Yeah. How much impact you have had. That is magnificent, in my opinion.
No, I mean, I definitely don't take that for granted, and I also don't use that as a bragging post either, because it's the songs for me. I'm not creating something out of thin air. I feel I know how to catch them. I feel like I have a butterfly net, and there's songs. There's music. The birds are making music. The train goes by and it's making music. I know how to grab it with my net and catch it and then give it to you. So they don't really belong to me once they're done.
Interesting.
I hear an idea. It comes to me. Where did that come from? Is it from God? Is it from science? Is it from nature? Is it from my own manifestation? Who knows?
Yeah.
Is it from an experience? Some are.
Yeah.
But what makes the song form in the melody? And there's, 8 notes in the chord that you can. What makes that combination? How do you remember somebody's phone number over somebody else's? How do you know your wife's phone number, but you might not have memorized my phone number or somebody else's phone number?
Yeah.
Because that person is significant to you enough that you took the time to memorize that thing. Same thing with the melody.
I love that.
The melody is significant where you'll memorize it.
Catchy enough.
And what's really crazy, we were talking about yesterday as an example by Paul McCartney. I could say yesterday, music is the only art form. A chef is an artist. You're an artist. A painter is an artist, right? It's all tangible. I can look at your computer and see what you're doing and physically see what it is, right? That you created. I can touch the painting that the painter made. I can grab it. I can put it on my wall. I can eat the food the chef made.
Yeah.
Music, I could say Yesterday by Paul McCartney, and it's in your brain.
Yeah.
Yesterday, da, 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 da. It's in your head.
Yeah.
That's crazy power.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, and the power, going back to Mozart said it best. He said, he's got this quote where he says, in 100 years from now, you will not remember who was the king of that decade, but you will remember the music that I wrote for him.
Yeah. Wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
And it's not even Mozart's music. It's notes that were created, from where they came from, that last forever. And so those things fascinate me. So at a very young age, I think I put into perspective, what if I can touch people one day with music? More so, I want to be the best at what I do. It's not I want to be the best to be better than someone as a competition. No,
it's for your own. It's your own.
I want to. How far can I push myself until I'm dust?
Yeah.
Like how far can I get where I'm constantly practicing and learning.
Wow.
I don't feel like I've even started my career.
I love it.
And really though, like as I'm doing this website, I'm looking back and it's going like, damn.
You're saying like it's not.
I can't believe I did that, but like at the same time,
there's so much more to be done, right?
Yeah, but I forget I even did it.
Wow.
So it's not part of this ultimate scheme. It's this concept of growing, but with the passion that we were talking about before and all that stuff. If all that comes to play in somebody's vision, and they can find the right people to team up with to put the cap on top of that pyramid. Like the Luxor here in Vegas. Yeah. It's lit up.
I love it. Yeah.
That's a specified focal point. Your business, your web business, you know exactly what you're doing. And I always tell, when I'm making a record for somebody, I want to make a record. Why?
Yeah, good question.
And there's no right or wrong answer. I just want to make a record. I don't want to make a record with you.
Yeah.
I want to make a record because I want money. Okay, well, if that's the thing, then this is the direction we're going to take this. We're going to write purely commercial music. We're going to AI your photos to look like you're the most perfect human.
Yeah.
We're going to give America what they want. We're going to make a Big Mac. If it's because my father just did this and I want to do this in an homage to him. Okay, it's
a different feel. Yeah. Wow.
One's not better than the other.
Yeah.
But they all have a different reason. You have to know why to start your business.
I love that. Know your why.
Know your why. And so for me, I'm a musician. Ironically, I've known you a long time, but if I would have seen your work, I would have picked you anyway.
I love that. Thank you.
But when we started reconnecting and talking, and the first thing you said to me was anything's possible. It just made me realize it doesn't mean we have to do everything. It just means like, let me shoot for the moon.
Yes. Because if we fall slightly short of that,
it's still
awesome. I love it.
And it wasn't about selling my music to people for my particular website. It wasn't about that. And you even talk about it. You're like, let's do these blogs of things that you've done that people can research.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. For me, it was about let's sell the music.
Mm-hmm. And you put a lot of time into the content, by the way. The blog content.
I mean, hundreds and hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
So in the end of the day, there goes the team. Find the right guy.
Yeah.
You're killer at what you do. I like to think I'm pretty good at what I do. And together you make all those things work. It's just like the guitar player you watched at that concert.
I love that. And many, many other times like that. Let me tell you, I've got a rule. And the rule is generally I don't want to be hanging out with people that are significantly taller and better looking than me. But I was happy to make an exception for you today.
Well, I'm jealous of your hair because this is a constant problem for me. I wish I didn't have to.
It's a good problem to have.
No, it's good.
To have.
Man, you're killing it in your game.
Thank you.
And I'm proud to show people my website. I feel like the website is not a website. I feel like it's an embodiment of my entire scope of work.
It's a representation of who you are and where you want to go.
And who I was.
Yes.
And who I might become.
It should always be a work in progress.
Yeah. Well, Mary, our fan club president. So what we do is like every day, another song charts. Like today, a song charted in Norway for us.
Wow.
I call her, boop, update.
Yeah.
So that's a growing platform. And you've allowed me to make that by having this. And at first, you start going like, we're in an age now where, I mean, how much time are people investing?
Yeah.
The answer is most people are not. My son said it best the other day when we were talking about computerized music and all this. My son said, authentic music, because we were talking about, I said, I like to use all real instruments. That's some people call that old school.
Wow.
I call that music
on
a musical instrument, I mean, if we make music on computers and stuff too, but that should have a different name.
Sure.
It's not less good. It's a different thing.
Yeah, it's totally a different thing.
I'm a piano player, but if I grab a guitar, I'm not a piano player playing this instrument. I'm a guitar player now.
Yeah.
So I said, I like to keep it authentic. And I said, but I feel like, that crowd that demographic is dwindling.
Interesting.
Even music stores are selling less and less and less music. It's a problem.
Wow.
Major music chains are closing.
Wow.
And my son said, authentic music is for authentic people.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm like, okay, well, there you go. With everybody has an audience for what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You're amazing. You're a rock star, literally. I loved it. Thank you.